Today I'm returning to my Victorious Living series. I've called this title, Going on Holiday? Beware of Regional Demons. I wonder whether this has ever happened to you. You save up, you make all the plans, you go on holiday and you go to a new area. You were perfectly well when you left, but when you get there, suddenly, for no reason, apparently, you get sick. It's a mystery. And in this week's videos, I want to explain what that mystery is and why it happens. If you, as a spirit-filled Christian, visit a new destination, you create a panic. Not a panic amongst the hotel staff, hopefully, or the bed and breakfast workers, or the campsite owners, but you create a panic amongst the local regional demons. And if you are unprepared, their reaction to your intrusion in their area can give you a very bad time. Let's find a real life example in the life of Jesus. In Mark chapter 4, Jesus went to the shores of Lake Galilee and he taught the crowds, probably from Peter's boat. In that one day, he taught several parables. The parable of the sower, the parable of the lamp, the growing seed, and the mustard seed. All that's in Mark 4. Now he knew Galilee well. He'd been raised in Nazareth. At the end of the teaching, the evening was coming, and in Mark 4:35 we read, when the evening had come, he said to them, let's go to the other side of the lake. Mark 4:35. Now, perhaps the disciples, who were professional fishermen, were not too keen on the idea, because they knew he was from a carpenter family and he couldn't be expected to read the sky. But anyway, he was the master and he wanted to go to the other side, so they started off. Now remember, unseen regional demons were on the alert, and a gale of wind and ferocious tempest suddenly blew up out of nowhere. This was a demonic storm. It couldn't have been from God, or else Jesus would not have rebuked it. Now let me remind you how Jesus made his decisions about travelling. He didn't just say, well, I'm going here and going there. He listened to what his Father showed him. We find that in John 5:19. What he sees the Father do, that doeth the Son likewise. Now, is this how you decide to travel? Do you decide to travel to where you want to go, or do you listen to Father? You know, if you say, well, let's go here on holiday, or let's go there, listen to Father, because he has a plan. I mean, I went out walking this morning and it was very early to avoid the heat with my dogs, and I met a young woman. I said to her, told her about the gospel, because she went out early in the morning and God arranged the meeting. So when you go out anywhere, let God arrange it, and let him be your guide for where you go on holiday. And Father must have known that there was a ministry situation in the area of the Gadarenes, which was a region where pigs were raised. Now, during the boat crossing, Jesus was calmly sleeping in the back of the boat, head on a pillow, no problems, sleeping nicely, while his team were frantically bailing out and in fear that the boat was going to sink because of the storm. And being woken up, Jesus, speaking in Arabic, said, he spoke to the demons, whipping up the storm, and he said in Arabic, the translation is, peace, submit to the will of God. That's in Mark 4, verse 39 from the Passion Translation. Now the storm obeyed because the demonic forces behind it were rebuked. Let's pick up the details from Mark. In Mark 5, they came to the other side of the region of the Gerasenes. That's another name for the region. As soon as he got out of the boat, there met him out of the tombs a man under the power of an unclean spirit. This man continually lived amongst the tombs, and no one could subdue him any more, even with a chain. For he had been bound often with shackles for the feet and handcuffs, but the handcuffs he wrenched apart, and the shackles he ground them together and broke them in pieces, and no one had the strength to restrain him. Day and night he was amongst the tombs and on the mountains. He was always shrieking and screaming and beating and bruising and cutting himself with stones. And when from a distance he saw Jesus, he ran and fell on his knees before him in homage. And crying with a loud voice, he said, "What have you to do with me, Jesus, Son of the Most High God? What is there in common between you and me? I solemnly implore you by God, do not begin to torment me." So this guy was freaked out. He didn't want Jesus, the Son of God, to come into his region and start tormenting the demons, because there were many, in him. Now, there is a lot to learn from these few verses, but in this first study, I want to underline just one particular truth. Jesus had ventured out, taken the boat from the area of Galilee, the northern shores of the Lake of Galilee, and went to the southern shores, into a new region, and the regional demons met him. They were there waiting for him. Now, Jesus had ventured out, and they were waiting in hope that they could affect him. And so look at the first question that this demon asked him. This demon, by the way, was called Legion. Now, the Legion is 6,000 men in Roman soldiers. This demon, Legion, asked Jesus one key question. Now, I underlined it in the text, and the question was this: what is there in common between us? Because this demon was hoping that what was in him, there was something common ground between the two. Now, I'm going to continue and explain all that in the next video, but the takeaway message for today for you is, if you are going to a new area, be prepared to be attacked by demons. And unless you are prepared by taking on board the teachings that I'm going to explain this week on how you can be totally prepared and totally defended from any demonic attack, if you listen to this week's videos, you're going to learn a lot, and I can assure you it's going to make your life a lot more victorious. So stay tuned, watch me tomorrow and the rest of the week, and you're going to learn a lot. God bless you, and thanks for listening to today's message.